Yogi Clan! Welcome back to Yogi Cycle Service and Product Review Thursday. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about this right here. Road 6 Customs. The Holy Roller handlebars. These are made, they make them for everything from a sporty up to a touring bike. So let's talk about these bars specifically for this bike here, a 2014 Ultra Classic. So let's roll the opening intro, then we'll dive into them. What do you say? Alright, Yogi Clan, welcome back. Road 6 Customs, the Holy Roller handlebars. I think I got these all in for probably about $330, $350, somewhere in that area. I'll go ahead when I get back and I will look that up and I will put them in the description. When I bought these bars, what did I buy? I bought the handlebars and I bought the wiring extensions. And let me just tell you, I've had these on here maybe about a year now, and I love them. They are awesome. When they come from Road 6 Customs, if you notice right here, there's a little silver cap. That cap is not installed when it comes, so you have an open end here. So when you go to run the internal wiring through here, you have access to this area to help turn those wires and route those wires down into the hole, which is pretty awesome, I think. And then what you do is you go to Lowe's, buy yourself a tube of black silicone. You put silicone around the cap, squish it in there, put some blue painter's tape on there to hold the cap on, let it sit for 24 hours, let that silicone dry, and those caps are in place. Now I'm sure I could always take a knife and pop those caps off, but they're stuck on there. They're stuck on there pretty good. They don't turn, they don't move. That silicone really does the trick. When you buy the wiring extension kit from Road 6 Customs, it comes with little plastic connectors. So the wires, you plug them into the plastic connectors, you connect the connectors to the controls that are coming from your handlebars, and you fish them through the handlebars. If I were to do it all over again, I would still buy their wiring kit, but I would not use the plastic connectors. I would solder the wires together, because a soldered wire is much easier to feed through than wires with connectors on them. I think the connectors really kind of suck. Personally, pardon the terminology, but making a right-hand turn here and then going down around the curve around on the bottom, trying to get those connectors to slide through there, it's unnecessary and it's not fun. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pull over in this church and we'll do a walk around on these handlebars. Woohoo! All right, we're in. We're in. Beautiful old church. Beautiful old trees in here. It's a really pretty area. Alright, hopefully this, I'll tell you what, we'll go down in the sunlight. I like the shade, but the camera angle will probably be better in the sun. Here they are. You will notice I do have my cup holder on this side, my ram mount on this side. There is webbing that connects that T angle together. You will also notice that these bars are made for a bagger. They do have, coming out of the bottom here, they are curved. They are 1.25 inches here. If you can see it, they step down to 1 inch to go into your handlebar clamps. They have the bagger curve where it comes up. Designed for a bagger. They do sell straight bars for soft tails, Dynas and Sporties. Front view, that gives you an idea of how much higher than the Batwing fairing they are. These are 13-inch bars. 13-inch bars. We'll talk about that here in a minute when we get started again. you can see there is the end cap that I was talking about before. Go ahead and use one of these pictures here as our thumbnail. See if I can get in the back, get a good thumbnail shot. There will be a good thumbnail shot. All right, let's reset the camera and get back on our way. All right, Yogi Clan, off we go again on our merry way. Yes, these are 13-inch ape hangers for a 2014, I would say up through 17. I'm not sure about 18 and 19, but 2014 to 2017. I don't know if you can see from this angle, but my brake line here is a stock brake line. My hydraulic clutch is the stock hydraulic clutch line. If you take off your batwing fairing, you can cut some zip ties to free up some room where you can use your stock hydraulic hoses for the 2014 Ultra Classic and Ultra Limited. You can use your stock lines and not have to worry about replacing those lines. A good friend of mine went with the 14-inch bars. I don't believe he got Road 6 Customs. I believe he got like a meat hook style handlebar, and they're 14-inch bars, and he did have to replace his brake line and his hydraulic clutch line on his. He had a 2016 Ultra Limited. So in order to save some expense, I just went ahead and said, you know what, I'm going to go with a 13-inch, because really when you look at it, yeah, you know, my height right here is the batwing fairing stops right about there. So yes, I am above my batwing fairing, which is what I wanted, but I didn't want to be, way above, or now my hand is catching all that winter air. I still have a lot of the winter air that blows up and over off the batwing fairing and misses my hands, so my hands aren't freezing cold like they are on my Fat Boy with that ape hangers. Plus this bike has heated grips too, which is kind of nice. Now my hand's sticking out. You probably can't really see this. Maybe in this camera you can see my arms are almost sticking straight out. So if I were to put my arms straight out at shoulder level, you can kind of compare where they are with the grips. The grips are probably just a little bit below shoulder level, but they are fairly close to shoulder level. My 16s on my Fat Boy are up higher. They're about at my chin level. So chin level would be here, shoulder level right about here. So these 13 inches are at or just below shoulder level. See, can't really see it in the side mirror. But for me, this is pretty much the perfect height. Yeah, an inch higher might be nicer, maybe up here. 14s would be nicer, but again, with 14s, you got to replace all your cables and hoses. And I didn't even feel like doing that, because that saves you a few $100s, because it's probably about $100 a hose, if I were to guess. So overall impressions, the finish on them, I mean, heck, these are a year old, and I don't really see any problems. Looks like there might be a little, it's either a dirt spot or a rust spot right there, but short of that, it's a gloss black finish on them. They're holding up pretty nicely. Underneath my cup holder here, I did run a loop of black electrical tape. This is a hard plastic cup holder, but I didn't want, it kind of has teeth on the inside of this, which I didn't want chewing up the paint. You know, if the weight of the coffee in here, and that thing, it tended to slide around a little bit, and I didn't want that to mess up the finish on the bars. But just to protect it, I did put a layer of electrical tape around here. I did not do that with the ram mount. The ram mount seemed a little bit more gentle. It's more of a rubber. Well, now I guess that's hard plastic too, but it just seems more gentle on that than this cup holder is over here. I really do dig this webbing here. The only thing I say stinks about the webbing is I would kind of like to have this cup holder either a little higher or have the ram mount a little higher, but you can only go so high because of this webbing here. So that does limit you on being able to move your phone mounts, or if you want a coffee cup mount. Man, I love my coffee. You know, sometimes I'll be known to put a Red Bull in there or a Monster Energy drink on there for really long road trips. I do have down here a cup holder down here, or a bottle holder rather. I usually put a water bottle in there, and like my coffee up here, or a Monster, you know, one of those Monsters with a screw-on lid so it doesn't spill out. Coffee will stay in there, not spill out too much, but you know, now we're riding a full face helmet, you know, unless you got something with a straw in it, forget it. It's like don't, you're not drinking anything. But that's beside the point. These handlebars, I really dig the handlebars. They are a great height. It was kind of a pain in the butt with all the wiring in here, because on this bike I have the stereo controls, I have cruise controls, you have turn signals, you have your horn, you have your high beams, your hazard lights, your run, your start, stop, and run, your turn signals over here, your CB controls. So there are a lot of wires in these controls on an Ultra Classic or on a bagger that, you know, I don't have on my Softail. So the wiring harness that you need to feed through on a bagger is definitely more than on an older Softail model. Now, some of the newer Softails do have, you can put heated grips on those, you can put cruise control on that, so that will increase your wiring harness also. But again, I highly recommend to you to solder the wire connections and don't use the clips that come with them, because it's a pain in the butt to feed the clips through on one of those wiring kits. Cut the darn clips off, solder it together. Now when you solder, good tip, don't cut the wiring harness in one spot. Stagger your cuts down. So each wire, cut the first one here, cut the second one here, cut the third one here, cut the fourth one there. That way your joints are staggered. And heat shrink, put some heat shrink tape. Go to Lowe's and buy some of those multi-size, ooh, trash man, multi-size heat shrink. You know what? I don't feel like following the trash man. I think I'm going to turn around and catch some more twisties. What do you say? Let's do it. Turn around on the hill? Yeah, let's do it. Nobody wants to follow the trash man. Thank you. Alright. Back down the hill we go. Plan B. Round the turn. Whee! So stagger your joints. Don't put them all at one spot, because then it creates this big ball that you gotta feed through there, and that's just as bad as using those stupid plastic connector clips. So yeah, a minute or two of pre-planning will save you a lot of headache. And staggering those solders will keep it all one nice thin tube. Wrap all that around with some electrical tape. If you have to, get a little bit of grease that sucker up and pull it through. Let's talk about that for a second. What's the easiest and the best way to pull your wires through the handlebars? I'm going to tell you Yogi's trick, because not these bars, but I just did a handlebar job on my buddy's bike, and it was on a Road King, and I had the wiring harness pulled through about 45 seconds on each side. How did I do it, you ask? Real simple. Get some dental floss, cut off about 2 foot, 3 foot long of dental floss, get yourself some paracord, get about 3 or 4 feet of paracord. You know, back in the day when it was the thing, about 6 years ago, to make those paracord bracelets. Yeah, you probably still have some left. Well, go into your closet, find your paracord stash, or go to Walmart and buy, 25 feet for $10. And what you do is you tie a knot from the dental floss to the paracord. That way both of those are tied together. You take a shop vac, and down here where the hole is on the handlebars, while your wiring comes out so it can connect into the connectors, you're gonna hold a shop vac tube to the bottom hole here. You're gonna take the dental floss, you're gonna hold it here, and you're gonna turn the shop vac on and suck that dental floss through. The shop vac will suck it right on through. When it comes out this end, now, because it's tied to your paracord, you just fish your paracord through. Once you have your paracord out on this end down here, then from this side here, you can attach in the dimple. You actually want to feed it through the dimple, not through the end, because all your wiring from your controls here are going to go into the dimpled area underneath here. Once you have your paracord through, now you can attach the paracord loop to your wiring harness loop and then pull that through. I used to try to do it where I just attached the dental floss to the harness, but if the harness, especially on like a meat hook handlebar, or where it comes up to the point and then comes down, or a right turn, sometimes that wiring harness, especially with this amount of wires that you got here, it's really tough to make that turn, and the dental floss will break before it can pull the wires through. The paracord, however, will not break. I'll show it to you. I'm sure we're going to have a handlebar job coming up here in a couple months. I know actually 3 people that want their handlebars done, so I'm sure we will cover this in a future video. But just so you know, in case you decide to do it for yourself in the next few weeks, use that paracord to pull your wiring harness through your handlebars. It will not break. You know, I've seen people take rope or string and tie like a nut to it, like a heavy nut, and drop the heavy nut through to fish the rope through. Nah, man. Dental floss and a shop vac attached to the bottom of the handlebars. Suck your dental floss through, pull your paracord through, attach your paracord to your wiring harness, pull your wiring harness through. If it seems like it doesn't want to go, if it seems like it's fighting, then go ahead and get some grease and grease the harness up. You know, put a little bit on your hand, smush it in your hand, then coat the wiring harness with some grease. You just, again, really want to make sure that your solders are covered. Your solders are tight, they're good solders, and you have them covered with heat shrink tape, and then wrap the whole thing in electrical tape to keep it all together. And then at that point in time, it's just like pulling one big wire through, and it works really well. And who cares if you've got grease on the inside of your handlebars? Doesn't really matter, does it? Then when you get out the other end, take a rag, clean the grease off, unwrap your electrical tape around it for as much as you need in order to be able to plug in the clips into the plastic harness, or if you cut those wires there also, then solder in the harness with the plastic clip on it so you can plug it back into your main harness. Really easy. Takes a while to make all the cuts and solders. That may take a good hour or 2 of the process, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. The solders are just as strong as the wire, and with the heat shrink tape around it, you're never going to get a short. Your wires are never going to, it works. The wires aren't going to come apart, they're not going to break. I just did not trust pulling that harness through with the little plastic junction clips in there. I was just afraid either one of those wires is going to pull out, or the clip itself is going to come apart. You know, in my opinion, there are just too many potentials for failure pulling through, especially on a meat hook handlebar, trying to pull through something where you have 2 plastic clips that you're snipping together with the wires going in them. I don't like it. It does not work for me. If I do your handlebars, I'm not using them. So the kit comes with them. I would just toss those away and solder it all together. It's just a much better finished product. So enough about that. I'll get off my soapbox. But these handlebars, I love them. they're great. I do have Wild One Chubbies on the Fat Boy. They're 16-inch apes on the Fat Boy. Those have been great. I'll do a product review of them at some point in the future, but right now we're just focusing on these Road 6 Customs. Customer service from there has been great. I had a couple questions that I asked them while I was talking about cable length, but on their webpage they have an hour-long video showing you how to change these handlebars out on a bagger, which is as good, if not better, than what I could do for a video. So I may do a video of it myself, but really point you to the direction of that video, because they just did a bang-up job on their installation guide of their video. It's really pretty thorough and pretty complete. They did a great job. So thumbs up, Road 6 Customs. Thumbs up. Y'all did a good job. So there's my product review for you today, this beautiful Thursday evening. I hope you enjoyed that, and I would give serious consideration. I heard about these bars from a friend in Florida. He told me about them, and honestly, their prices are very competitive. They offer a superb product. I have no problems with the fit and finish on these. Everything worked as advertised, as described. I would give them 5 stars. I didn't have any problems with the finish on them arriving. The gloss paint on them it's a good thick coat on there. I have not had any of it flake off, peel off. Their welds coming down here look pretty darn good to me. So they did a pretty darn good job putting these bars together. The only thing I see is just this one little spot here, but who knows what that's from. And these bars are at least 12 months old. I think I bought them with my tax return money last year. I think I put them on in March or April of last year of 2018. So they're a year old. And you know, I got 15,000 miles put on these handlebars so far. And they have served me well. So check them out. Go visit their website. I think they're also on Instagram too. I'll put a link to their website below. And ask you to give them serious consideration if you're in the market for handlebars. There are so many different kinds out there. It's hard to choose which one, but I will tell you, if I ever buy bars again, I'll probably be going back to them. Both them and Wild One both make a great set of bars. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed the view from the bike instead of a view from the truck. Had one of the subscribers go, "Dang bro, you do everything in a cage?" I'm like, nah man, I just work a whole lot. Because I work a whole lot, I record while I'm going from one job to another. So sorry, a lot of stuff is coming from the front seat of a pickup truck. I will try to do better to record more when I'm riding. It just seems like I can't ever line up my video recording and release dates with the days that I ride. So God bless Yogi Clan. Have a wonderful day. Peace.